But then there are those artists that will be so confident that they can step out of their musical lane, and they're successful there too. You gotta have some testicular fortitude in this business to follow your innards, because everybody's going to tell you what you should do. Do what you feel is going to give you the greatest satisfaction.
On this episode of the Home Studio Hangout podcast, we have music video specialist Andy Gesner. Andy and his company, Hip Video Production, have over the last 20 years been extremely successful at selling videos and music videos to different companies for artists, getting great placements that allow the artist's song to go even further to a new audience. On this episode, we talk about the evolution of the music video since the early 2000s up till now, why a music video could be important for you or your artist as a producer, and some of the ways that Andy goes about helping promote your video. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Andy Gesner on the Home Studio Hangout podcast. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to the Home Studio Hangout podcast. I'm your host, Drew. Super stoked to have you with us today, and super pumped to have with us guest of the episode, Andy Gesner. Andy, super pumped for you to be here, talk about all things video, music videos, all that kind of stuff. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Drew. I'm grateful for the invitation, and I'm thrilled to be here at the Home Studio Hangout.
Yeah, man. Super pumped to have you. So maybe just to off rip, first little bit of an introduction for those that may not know who you are or what you do or what HIP is. Let's give like a 30,000 foot general view, and then, I'll dive and nitpick on some questions as I hear them.
Well, after 20 years of living it, breathing it, sweating it, bleeding it as a rock and roll bassist, in the year 2000, it was either I reinvent myself or probably would have gone and sold appliances at Best Buy. And I had a dear friend, he said, "Hey, Andy, not for nothing, this new thing, the World Wide Web." I'm like, "Yeah, World Wide Web, you've got mail." It's like, yeah. It's only going to be a matter of time before the entire human family is going to be able to watch music videos on their computer. Now, at the time, that seemed very far-fetched because it just didn't support it. You could click on the link you were sent, go make a sandwich, go cut the lawn, take a quick trip to the supermarket, feed the cat, come back an hour later, and it might. Emphasis on the word might. Play. So I figured, well, if that's the case, there's going to be a big premium on visuals as a very powerful and potent piece of marketing currency. So I jumped right in. I figured 20 years of being able to tell clients what not to do, since we all know getting past the pain point in your musical pursuits can be quite difficult. Mm-hmm. So since the year 2000, we've promoted over 4,800 music videos. We get our clients' videos on television channels. We get them placed on top-tier websites and blogs. We get the videos placed in fitness centers, department stores, shopping malls, Foot Lockers, Hot Topic, Journeys, airports, nightclubs. Then, of course, there's OTT. What started as a Roku box is now Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Google Chromecast, Sling, Apple TV. Then you got YouTube. You've got the playlists. You want someone pitching your video to the YouTube playlists. That is your best way to get genuine, authentic views. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, your music video is the cornerstone of your identity. Now more than ever, music fans listen with their eyes. Mm-hmm. So don't get caught with your drawers down. You want to have a music video, and you want to use said music video to bring more potential fans into your community.
100%. And you're coming up on 25 years of this with HIP, which is massive. Congratulations. Not many people in any kind of industry, nonetheless, a music adjacent industry or video adjacent industry lasts 25 years. So congratulations on that as well.
Drew, you are so kind. You're making my heart go all pitter patter. But I am truly the poster child for if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. I mean, look, I sit on this couch and I do the chit chat. And people trust me because I ain't no shit merchant. If someone comes and they've got a crappy ass crap video, I don't fib to them, Drew, and tell them that it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Many times the prescriptions that Dr. Andy has to write is for the medicine that tastes the absolute worst.
100%.
I think honesty is the best policy, and you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So, if you've got an outstanding music video and you're figuring out how to get it on MTV or CMT or have it playing in the local fitness center you go to work out, or you're kind of curious, how could I get my video on Music Choice because my parents love to watch music, whatever it is. With, like you said, with that long of a time figuring out how to make friends with the decision makers and gatekeepers and providing them with great visual content, I would contend that my team and I might be a good phone call to make.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so I would love to hear from you over the course of this. So you started in 2000. A lot technologically and focus has shifted over the last 25 years significantly. I mean, in 2000, the main prime time stuff, like you were saying, was your MTVs, your CMT music video channels, a lot of like just channels on, if I remember correctly, because this was my era of growing up as well, was like the era of specific music video genre channels that were just like rotating music videos all the time. And that was in like the 2000s, a very big thing on like digital TV and stuff like that. And then over the course of the years, like versus now, we've landed in like a totally different place, totally different market, totally different everything. What has been your biggest like pivoting points over those last couple of years that you feel like have kind of kept you going?
Well, you've always got to be 3 to 5 years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew that music videos were going to be on the computer. I was told that in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So the minute anything showed up online that had to do with music videos, we made friends. And then all of a sudden, 2005, there's this thing called YouTube. And it was groundbreaking. Can you imagine, Drew? YouTube has only been around.
Oh, 20 years? That's crazy.
20 years?
Yeah, that's crazy. I also remember the start of YouTube because I was like on the internet as a young dude trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life at that point. And I fully remember the start of YouTube and like the early stuff. I was even talking to a friend the other day talking about how like early YouTube was like music videos and sketch comedy. And that was like kind of it. And then occasionally you'd have some people talking to a camera, but it was pretty rare.
Mm-hmm. It is the second largest search engine on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Some people's first.
Well, wouldn't you know, the first is Google, and Google owns YouTube.
And it can and it prioritizes its own stuff, obviously. But then there are some people, myself included sometimes, that will go to YouTube to search first, for sure, before they ever get to, like, they might even skip Google altogether because they're already on YouTube a lot of the time. And so they just search there.
Yes. Back in the double zeros, it was all about the big machines. You had your 3/4 inch tape machine, and you'd make them one by one. 3/4 inch tape.
Oh, yeah.
3/4 inch tape. But at the same time you were making a 3/4 inch tape, you had a tape in the Beta SP machine.
Yep.
Because you were making Beta SPs. Then there were others that, Andy's just send me a DV cam. I get it, it's cheaper to mail. And then all of a sudden you had Digi-Beta. So instead of the gray box for the Beta SP, now you had a blue box for the Digi-Beta. And then of course you had NTSC. That was North America. Mm-hmm. And then in Europe, it was PAL. P-A-L. So the entire process of getting the decision makers and gatekeepers the music videos that they wanted to feature and champion was quite the Herculean undertaking.
I can imagine.
And you had to make sure that there were no video hits and audio glitches. Every video had to be closed captioned. And then you had to mail it to all the different people. And if it was Canada, you had to fill out the little green slip. And it's remarkable, Drew, how all of a sudden people were saying, well, I think now you can send the video to us digitally. And just that word made my heart sing.
Yeah.
Digitally means I don't look like Santa Claus going to the post office with these big ass bags of tapes.
Yeah.
And over the course of time, people would switch over. They'd say, you no longer have to send me a Beta SP. Just deliver it to our server, or we'll download it from your server, or just send me a digital. Technology is magnificent. And here we are in 2025. Anyone can make a music video. 25 years ago, you were best to create your new music video on film.
Mm-hmm.
Film.
They wanted it to look like a movie. Oh, yeah. Film's super expensive.
Right.
Tape for anything was expensive.
Right. And if you're going to make a video digitally, good luck getting that video program, because it looked like it was shot digitally. Mm-hmm. You were going to be the laughing stock. So here we are. People want the visual. They want to see the person that's behind the great song that's got stuck in their head like an earworm.
Mm-hmm. What in your mind, as a person who, obviously you've been in this industry for a really long time, even prior to HIP. So what in your mind should the purpose of a music video be? And do you think, could you give me a history of what the music video has been over the years, kind of up until now?
Sure. Well, I'll never forget when Queen, I saw them in 1977 at the Philadelphia Spectrum, and it changed my life.
I can imagine.
But, the biggest Queen superfan in the world told me, you got to see the video. They did a video for Bohemian Rhapsody. So, you just had to find it. It was so amazing that such a thing existed. And then all of a sudden, it's 1982, and cable TV. You wanted the cable TV because you could get 20 channels. Go figure, 20 channels? Are you
not four? Whoa.
That's intense. And,
yeah.
It was $27.95 a month, so it was worth it. And all of a sudden, you had this and it's music television? And so it changed everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely changed everything. And
It,
all
it,
of a sudden, people who were getting their videos programmed on MTV were seeing these insane bumps
mhm.
in sales number. And it's just uh, don't believe the hype, man. The music video ain't going anywhere. I mean, I know there are some out there that say, don't waste your money on a sorry ass music video. Just concentrate on the short form content. Well, that might be, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. But music videos, you can make a memorable music video and not break the bank. For instance, when we heard from the Lumineers in 2012, one of their concerns was that, this Ho Hey video, Andy, we didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. We just got our friends together and kind of threw a party. We got some food in, and we had a line on a old closed down mental hospital, and we just went in, we shot it. There was no real treatment, no real plan. We just kind of winged it. And I said, well, that doesn't matter because, as long as the song is something that you think is going to catch people's attention.
Mhm.
And boy, 13 years ago, did that song catch
yeah.
people's attention.
For sure.
It's crazy.
The and I remember, I would say that was almost a second wind. That era, like that 2012 era, was almost a second wind of like music video revitalization. First, I think it also coincided with like YouTube getting, it had already been bought by Google, but it was really more like getting pushed as like you need to have a music video on YouTube in order to be taken seriously as an artist around that like 2010 to 2014 like area. This is for all the listeners who are younger, this is pre like social media as you know it now. So like it was more like old MySpace, Facebook, early Facebook social media era. And so having a YouTube video meant you were a real band. Like it was a big deal at that point too. Now coming into nowadays, I've seen both for good and bad. Like you said, people have leaned into, why would I make a video when I make short form content? Fair, but and this is kind of something that I've always said is there are some things that you can do with a music video that you can't do with short form content. There are stories that you can't tell in that amount of time, and that you need the budget and the visual and the bigness of a music video to fully engage. In recent memory, Childish Gambino's "This Is America," amazing example of like the music video used at its most opportune moment and most opportune like way. That music video was everywhere. And I feel like there are more examples that are more recent, I'm sure, in a similar way. But at the same time, like people being willing to go in and use their video, not firstly writing the song with such a story to be told, I think is also important. But then following that up with, all right, I'm going to use the music video as a way to then further either immerse the audience or tell the story or however. That's kind of generally been my point of view. So kind of coming into now, what are some of the things that you see from your point of view as far as pitching and, things that some of these distributors would expect from, what are these people looking for? What song wise, artist wise, video wise, like if I'm creating in the creation process, what are some things that I should be thinking about in that lane?
When you start thinking about what your new music video is going to look like, I'll still a line from Casey Kasem. Keep your feet on the ground. but keep reaching for the stars. I tell my clients, because they're going to do a follow-up video, I say, all right, you picked the song? Yeah, I got the song, Andy. Close your eyes, listen to the song. Pie in the sky. If you had unlimited budget, you had financial resources to do whatever you wanted to do, what do you see when you close your eyes? Then you do it a second time and maybe stay on that theme and maybe enhance that theme, or maybe the second time around you see other things. It's kind of like dreaming in real time. What would I want this video to convey about me and my musical endeavors? Remember, this music video is going to be the bait you put on your hook to bring people to your fishing boat. So it can't be half-assed. It can't be called in. Deciding on a videographer, these are all really important decisions. We all know experience is a hard teacher. She gives the test first and the lessons afterwards. So, just like anything else in life, you want to ask the videographer, hey, can you show me some of the videos you've made? If there's any apprehension there, not the right person. Hey, can you put me in contact with the people you've shot videos with recently? If there's any apprehension there, you don't want that person as a videographer for your next video. You got to feel comfortable and confident that they're the right choice. Because remember, just like anything else in life, there's always going to be the all talk, no walk types of people. Or if you're in Texas, the all hat, no cattle types.
Yeah.
Especially in the music industry, there is certainly no dearth of the fake, phony frauds and the liars, fakers, fairy tale makers. I'm sure many of the folks watching or listening, you have fallen prey to these no good nicks, these Lucifer-loving lame asses. That's one of my goals with Hip Video Promo, is to put these bad guys out of business. Because nowadays with the internet, man, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're going to get totally trashed online and you're going to be out of business very quickly. I had a client last week. He said, Andy, I went all through the World Wide Web. I checked every forum. I checked every testimonial. I checked your Facebook. All I was looking for was someone out there in this world that was disparaging you and your people and your company and your services. And I asked the potential client, I said, well, how did that go? And there was silence. And he said, it looks like everyone likes y'all. Okay, so yes, to go 24 and a half years and not have anybody out there slamming us or saying terrible things about us, I'm very proud of that, because as fellow creatives, we know what it's like. We know what the struggle is. We know that getting past the pain point. And Drew, think of all the people we've known, so talented. Oh, yeah. They were so close to breaking through. And what did they do? They folded up like a cheap lawn chair, especially the last 4 years with all the challenges, whether it's health, family, financial. Yeah, this has been a tough start to the 2020s here. Yeah. That's all I can say. Just saying, 5 years ago, we were all sitting around talking about Corona, and we ain't talking the beer.
Yeah, for sure. There's I would actually also, because you mentioned it in the past, some of the past clients that you've kind of worked with, I would also love to hear from you some of the more like fun or interesting situations of you running promo, like one that you were like, I'm unsure about this, if it's going to work, and then it surprised you, or maybe one that you got surprised in the opposite direction? I would just love to hear some examples of that over the years from you.
I have the ultimate story, Drew.
Okay.
So it's March of 2003. And this was back in the time where you didn't really email potential clients. This was still the pick up the phone and call them era.
Yeah.
So I think the best adjective to describe Andy at the time, pleasantly persistent. Wasn't being a dick about it.
Yeah.
I would just call like every 2 or 3 weeks. And very rarely would you get through to the decision maker. But the gatekeepers, you make friends with them. It's Andy from HIP again. What's up, Andy? No, not here today. I'm sorry, but I will give her your message. Yeah, just let her know I saw that new Shins video, and we'd be grateful for the opportunity to So I'd been doing this with Lost Highway probably a year and a half, because I've always loved Lost Highway. And it's a blend of R&B, soul, country. There really was no Americana yet in 2003, or we didn't call it that. That really came with the Mumford & Sons and the Lumineers about 10 years later. But I get the call, 615 area code. I'm like, could it be? Hello? Andy, it's Retta here at Lost Highway. How are you? And my heart is pounding because we needed that one video. Because, when you first start out, there's that catch-22. No one's going to hire you unless you've worked with great artists. But how do you work with great artists if no one's going to hire
you? Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sending like quiet messages to the big guy upstairs. Please, please, please let this lead to a new gig. We need a new gig. She says, we've got this video and we just got out of the meeting. We don't know what to do with it. I'm like, wow, well, is there any way my team and I can help? And she says, well, I'm not really sure because this is a strange one, Andy. So I said, well, who's the artist? She said, well, it's Johnny Cash.
And this was when?
2003.
Okay.
March. So we're talking exactly 22 years ago.
Yeah.
And she says the issues we're having that in the video, Andy, Johnny looks like he's going to die.
Well, yeah.
I think, oh man, what the heck? And then she says, and it's not his normal repertoire. He's freaking doing a 9 Inch Nails cover.
Yeah.
So I'm on the other end of the line here in New Jersey with Nashville, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is this? She says, look, let me just overnight you a VHS, and you and your team can take a look. That's what we did 22 years ago. They would overnight a VHS.
Yeah.
So we got the VHS. We were all excited. We were a little nervous because Johnny looking like he's about ready to shift off this mortal coil, and he's doing a 9 Inch Nails cover. Of course, we went to listen to the original version of Hurt, and we were all scratching our heads. This is going to be... we didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we watched this absolutely legendary.
Yeah.
No other music video of a cover will ever hold a candle to the Johnny Cash Hurt music video.
No.
We all watched it once we had wiped a tear out of our eyes. And they were all like pushing me. It's like, call her, call her. Call her, we want to do it. So I called her. I said, put us in, coach. We want to play. And the rest is history. He would have won all the MTV Music Awards there in September of 2003 if he hadn't passed away 12 days before the event.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's such a great story, actually. And also, in that moment, for you, as like when you hear it, so let's say before you see it, when you hear that, is like equal parts of you, like the business part of you is like, what the heck is this? And then the creative part of you is probably like, oh my gosh, this sounds like the coolest thing in the world. I can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's many instances where you have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
For instance, someone sends a video to you and it's nothing but crappy ass crap.
Yeah.
So, as a fellow musical creative, I know what would happen if your new friend Andy was a shit merchant. I would say to the client, this video is cool. It's really good. It's great. Yeah, we're going to promote it for you, and it's going to change your complete trajectory. Mm-hmm. Now, that shit merchant is speaking the truth. It will indeed completely change that artist's trajectory. The problem is the trajectory is going to be straight down to hell. Because the decision makers don't like having their time wasted. So if I were to have sent out that awful video, these people have long memories. They're going to remember it. So then when the same artist goes, ditches the terrible videographer, gets a great videographer, and makes a fabulous video, they're all going to remember the POS that they got sent just a year earlier. Mm-hmm. Chances are they won't even watch it. So I do think that if you're going to pick a marketing team, it's always good to have people who've actually lived it, breathed it, been out on the road, broken down on the side of I-95, had to sleep on strangers' floors.
Yep. Getting
duped and bamboozled by the club person who said that you were going to make X amount of money. Or when they counted the amount of people who came because you had someone there and they actually counted the people and it came to 97. And they're trying to tell you only had 61. And then they start saying, well, you had all the people on the guest list. Hey, sport, cupcake. We had 2 people on the guest list. Come on, pony up the chingy ching. What the hell is wrong with... Anyway, we've all seen how people try to dupe Indie Nation. It's just... No one has ever gone bust preying on the naivete of Indie Nation. And that's why here at HIP we pride ourselves in being fellow musical creatives who have actually been on that side, spending money on marketing that is faulty, shoddy, not too good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no worse feeling than spending your money and getting so little return on investment. It makes you want to just punch someone's nose right down their throat.
Yeah. I personally, the reason I generally don't suggest newer artists to do a music video straight out the gate is for that reason. They haven't quite developed their taste of like what is good and what isn't yet. And music videos can, as you know, be very expensive. Even on the low end for a newer artist or an indie artist, they can be super expensive. And if you're not going to be able to put the money behind the promo after the fact on top of a really good music video and be able to pay for really good quality for both of those things, they're probably right. Yes, you should just stick to short form. But at the same time, like the life-changing effect that you can make, or the potential like reach that you could get that you can't get just posting whatever, is like kind of insane on the other side of a music video. So done well, I'll say that. A music video done and promoted extremely well can be crazy on the return for you.
No truer words have ever been spoken. And we've had the clients where they really put the emphasis on the choreography and they put the emphasis on the wardrobe. and they put the emphasis on the makeup, and they put the emphasis on the technical quality. But Drew, they have an issue. The song.
Yeah.
The song. I mean, the actual bedrock of the whole freaking thing.
Yeah.
And you and I both know you can rub it, you can poke at it.
Oh yeah.
But you can't polish a turd.
Well, I always told people, it's like, I can polish a turd somewhat, but I can't polish diarrhea, is what I tell people.
That's so good. It's true. It's true. It's like, you've got to have that earworm, man. And you can't just go to any old lame-ass music person who purports himself to being a great producer. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And I am so inspired these days because so many of my clients, they've gone and spent the $65 an hour. And they've spent the big bucks for poor quality. Mm-hmm. And they say to themselves, you know, I ain't a dolt. I know what to do. I can go to YouTube and I can watch things and I can find out what equipment to buy, and I can buy it. Now, granted, it's going to be a big investment up front, but just think of all the money I've wasted at these studios where the guy is spending half of the time at the control board and half the time in the back room smoking Mary Jane. I mean, this is the worst.
Yeah.
I ain't going back. Hell, man, if you want it done right, do it yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes that is the best. Sometimes that is the best way to go. And honestly, even for the music video side thing, like, I've seen people, it's incredibly, I will preface this with, it has to be incredibly stylized specifically, but you can do really cool things with just a phone, or honestly, because nostalgia is such a play right now, going to like a Goodwill or some random thrift shop and finding like an old Handycam, like Panasonic video from like the 2000s or like the 90s and shooting a video with that can be a very especially stylized video for your band. Obviously, as long as it makes sense for your genre. Like, I'll also say that the caveat is a very good option for people that can actually work extremely in their favor. And a polished music video actually might not be the route for some of those kind of people as well. Has that been kind of your experience as well, as like the wrong style of music video for the song too?
I think that one of the beautiful things about being a creative, and we've seen it with some of our favorite artists. You take a guy like Elvis Costello, who started out as the angry young man, punk rocker type, and by 1980 he's doing a record with all the horns.
It's
and
crooning.
Then 82 with Imperial Bedroom, that's his Cole Porter record.
Yep.
It's everybody's desire to break through, get past that pain point, and have a long, successful, storied musical career. And how many great artists have we seen? You know what? I'm going to step out of my musical lane and I'm going to try something different. And they alienate 80% of their fan base. And it's a buzzkill. It's a day ruiner. But then there are those artists that will be so confident that they can step out of their musical lane, maybe put their left blinker on and go into a different lane. And they're successful there too. You gotta have some testicular fortitude in this business to follow your innards, because everybody's going to tell you what you should do. Do what you feel is going to give you the greatest satisfaction. Because we've all seen when these artists try to follow trends or try to be like someone else, it always ends poorly.
Love that. Andy, looking towards the future of what you're seeing right now, like you said, got to be 2 or 3 years, thinking 2 or 3 years ahead. I'd love to know what your thoughts are as we're sitting here right now in 2025, looking into the future of 2028. Let's do some future predicting, crystal ball time. What are your thoughts on the next couple of years as it pertains to maybe the music video industry or music industry in general, or some things that you see kind of projected?
All right, great music will always find an audience. And you got to figure, Drew, a lot of the people who watch this transmission, they're making their own musical pursuits in their own home studio. True or false?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so consistent, sustained promotion. This is not like back in the day where if you did have a good career going and you did have a label supporting you, you would put out one new record a year. Pretty much how they did it. And
that's how a lot of people still do it.
Absolutely 100% true. People still do it. But CSP is an ongoing mantra here, consistent, sustained promotion. Because the algorithms mimic the human attention span. So, it was last fall. People are like, Andy, I thought about it. I think I'm good to go with the 60-day grind. And that's very simple. 6 new releases per year. And you don't have to necessarily know what the third one's going to be or the fourth one's going to be. You're only going to need to know what the first one's going to be in January. And you work that right on into March. Then all of a sudden, boom, you have a brand new release and a new video. And you're building on the solid, sturdy foundation that your release in January brought your way. So all of a sudden, it's January to March. Now it's March until May. What happens at the end of May? Boom! Number 3. Now all of a sudden, people are like, wow, this guy is obviously in it to win it, because now he's back with a 3rd winner in a row. I really like this guy, man. I got to start telling my friends about this guy. I hope he stays on this same kind of every 2-month trajectory, because I really like the music. This is remarkable. You smell what I'm cooking, Drew. You do it 3 more times, and that's the 60-day grind. Now, some people will say, well, that is for the youngins. That's for the whippersnappers. That's for the wildly ambitious. Andy, I think I can only do 5 releases a year. Well, that's a 75-day grind. The key is that the algorithms, aka the human attention span, if you don't continue to release new content, quality content, don't be a doofus and release a new song every 2 weeks. But don't be an equally as terrible doofus by releasing a new song every 7 months. Do it consistently. That way you keep the people at your party. They're not going to leave the party and go to someone else's party if you're continuing to create great new entertainment. Now, there are some that do the 90-day grind. Andy, I think I got 4 singles. Can we do the 90-day grind? Absolutely. Let's do the 90-day grind. But the idea being is that you need to have some semblance of what the heck you're going to do. Failure to plan is like planning to fail. So do the right thing and make plans. And if you need someone who has got a little bit of experience and or savvy, you got to lean on them. You got to lean on people you can trust. You got all these people out there. It's $9.95 for the super duper course. It's only going to take you 8 hours to do. But I promise you, if you send me $975, I'm going to share with you this incredible course. And before you know it, you're going to be, all of this is such rubbish. It's like, no, you got to talk to people who have actually been there and seen it happen and have seen the great success stories, whether it's Death Cab for Cutie, Transatlanticism 2003, when people were like, I don't know, these guys are a little too hyper-literate and ultra-sensitive. Man, they were on Atlantic 2 years later. I remember going to interview Paramore. This was their first ever music video. And the lead singer was all 17. And we were there to interview them because John at Fueled by Ramen really wanted to do the interviews because he thought that would help. And the bass player comes out of the green room and he's looking a little, I don't know, not happy. Comes up and says, hey, are you Andy from Hip? I'm like, yeah, you're the bass player. He says, yeah. Just wanted to, and I'm thinking, this ain't going to happen. This is not going to happen. He says, just wanted to come out and let you know that Haley, I'm like, oh, we're not. Haley's voice is really shot. This is the second to last date of the tour. If you don't mind her speaking a little softer than normal, we'll all be out for the interview in 5 minutes. And I looked at they're like, these guys are going to break through. Oh, that's what we love. It's like, no matter what it takes,
the willingness.
Don't forget the marketing. Or how about 30 Seconds to Mars when Virgin said, we get it. People are going to disparage these guys because we all know that when an actor fronts a rock band, it never ends well.
Yeah.
Can anyone say Dog Star, right?
Yeah.
So, can you please go and see them at the Mercury Lounge? Because I think it's going to be their first show in New York, and they're really going to need the support. And I didn't know Jared, the lead singer Jared from Subway. I mean, I never saw My So-Called Life. I never saw any of his movies.
Yeah, I didn't know him prior to 30 Seconds to Mars.
Right, exactly. So anyway, we go and it's 30 Seconds to Mars in 2002. Go figure.
They put on an incredible show.
And they were so friendly.
Yeah.
And of course, artists are usually friendly to the people who are going to be championing them and advocating for them and fighting the good fight for them. They figure, hey, let's make friends with this guy because he could probably help. So they're like, you got to come to Philly. Got to come to Philly. We're playing there tomorrow night. We're playing at the Khyber Pass. And I'm thinking to myself, man, yikes. Talk about, I am not disparaging the Khyber Pass, but talk about a hole in the wall. But, they were just starting out. Yeah. And all I have to do is go and watch that Capricorn, a brand new name music video. Mm-hmm. What an epic clip. I mean, I'm sure Jared did some kind of deal with the video director. Hey, I'll do a cameo in your next short film. Well, sure. I don't know what they did, but obviously for them, the rest is history. Astra Works in 2007 brought us See Ya. And people were like, see you later. Her voice is kind of thin. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's all good. But obviously she's proven since 2007 that she ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, no, she's kind of locked in. And also, I think all three of those artists, Paramore, Sia, and 30 Seconds to Mars, a lot of the things that people remember about them are their music videos. Specifically, 30 Seconds to Mars is a part of the reason that they blew up was their music videos were essentially small movies.
Yep.
That told the story or that told an adjacent story alongside the song's story, whether that was a direct thing or not. doesn't really matter, but they told a story simultaneously in both places. Andy, my man, I would love if people want to check you out online, see anywhere you go. Why don't you toss your socials out there so people can give you a follow or check you guys out and see anything that you're doing right now, or maybe hit you up and say hey.
I'm a phone call guy, Drew.
Okay, that's
Old
fine.
school, 64 old school. 732 613 1779. Now, I'm fully cognizant. A lot of these music marketing companies, not only do you not speak to the person in charge, you do not speak to anybody.
Yeah.
And my thought is, how great would it be if you could actually talk to the person in charge and you're thinking, something's not right here. This isn't how it's done anymore. I challenge you to call that number. Chances are maybe Francesca or Rebecca or Catherine might answer, but I'm here. I love doing this.
Nice.
And you can actually talk to me about your project. And obviously, if you're an up-and-coming musical creative, you always want to check out the testimonials. Remember, the testimonials on the Facebook page, not the website, because they can fudge the ones on the website. You also want to ask them, who have you worked with? Who would I know that you've made a difference in their musical careers? And if said marketing company doesn't have a straight up, right away kind of answer, big red flag. References. Don't be afraid. I mean, if you're a top-notch producer, yeah, maybe you don't have to give out references because everybody already knows who you've worked with. But not everyone's going to know. So if said music marketing company can't supply you with at least 3, always ask for 5. Maybe not call all 5 or 3, but just see if they squirm. But if they're straight up confident, say, no, I can give you 8 references, you know, whatever you want. So these are all ways to really steer clear of the no good nicks and the people who are going to do nothing but put you on a sick trip. So 732-613-1779. HIP, H-I-P as in Peter. It is an acronym for Hedgehog Independent Promotions. Back in the 90s, I had a record label called Hedgehog Records. So we did not name the company HIP because we're hubris-filled jerk faces from Williamsburg, Brooklyn. No, we are just hipvideopromo.com at hipvideopromo, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and at hip video on YouTube.
Awesome. Dude, Andy, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today, talking about your stuff, sharing your life experience, sharing all of your wealth of information, and, you know, giving some insight into what you do, going back through, you know, a little bit of the history of music videos and all that kind of stuff. It was super interesting. I hope that everybody enjoyed the listen. I hope everybody enjoyed you. They reach out either by phone or by internet, whichever one, and just say, hey, heard you on the podcast. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and if it's 20% the great music you're producing or the great music that you're making, and let's say you're a producer and you just worked with a great artist, don't you want that artist to get people into their tent? I mean, come on. The more your clients that make great music get the attention and exposure they deserve, more people are going to find out about you. Can anyone say Jack Antonoff? I mean, come on. So, yes, marketing. It's always the part that gets these great, talented people anxious. They don't want to do it. I get it. Yeah. Nobody wants to do it except for me and my team.
Yeah.
So don't put yourself through torture. Save a little extra money in your budget to hire a professional. That's what we do in our life
Mm-hmm.
journey. We hire professionals to do the things we can't do. And I encourage you to learn more about HIP video promo as we continue onward towards our 25th birthday.
Yeah, very excited about that. Andy, once again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. Go check out Andy at Hip Video or at Hip, yes, at Hip Video Productions. On all video promo on all the places, hipvideopromo.com and at hipvideo on all the places. I'll have your number and all the links, relevant links in the description if everybody wants to check that out. But once again, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on another episode of the Home Studio Hangout podcast next time.